It's a Beaver midget submarine from World War II. We could actually manufacture those pretty easily. Although the shape and the construction of the propane ones, the propane tank submarines, those are actually quite significantly fantastic and also of far better construction than what they created in World War II. If you got into a Beaver submarine, you were for certainly a risk taker. Those things were primarily put together by slave labor, and slave labor don't work that well. As many of you know, and many of you throw in my face often, I do have useful skills. Unfortunately, without a place where I can sit down and utilize those skills, they don't really do me any good. Alright, so now that it's late at night and there's no other customers really, I suppose I could actually talk on my phone and show you some of the stuff I got out. A lot of the cards on the table are mandated reporters that I went to, going back for years. Also, I do want to advertise for Snell's Predator Service. That's a service in Chapel, Nebraska. And the reason that I want to promote Carl Snell and his services is because this is one of the men who threatened my life, along with Christopher Kurth. However, he apologized. He realized that he had made a mistake and he tried to rectify it. He may not have apologized outright, but you know what? He did something. Alright, let's go through this list here of people. Let's see if I can get my computer to work. What a pain in my butt. Alright, well. I don't know exactly which officers are which in my videos and in my recordings. That's one of the problems with meeting so many of them. And from all over the place. And then I'm sent from one place to another to talk to these people, talk to those people. And they say, well, which officer is it? Well, I don't know. A lot of these officers didn't give me their names. I had to get the cards from them the third or fourth or fifth time around. I mean, there's a bunch of them. And of course, they're from all over the country. Here in Tillamook, Dual County, Nebraska, Sean Holloway, Mike Kramer, James Hammond, Jim Hammond, same guy, Kurt Vanderhoff, Officer John Carty there in Bristol. Like I said, I actually went to these places. I was actually in these places. These are not figments of my imagination. Wouldn't it be great if they actually were? But in some cases, fact is stranger than fiction. I guess I'll just get this up close and go through it. This is Alexis Valentin, or Valentine. She's dead. This is Rebecca Grossnickel-Foley. She's one of the people I came up here to help. She was human trafficked. Joseph Michael Lopez is the guy that killed Natalie. That's Natalie, and that tiny picture is me. That's Dallas Richmond. Oh, by the way, Natalie is dead. Joseph is in prison. That's Dallas Richmond. I stayed with him in Chapel, Nebraska. He did rip me off, but he was honest about it, and I can respect at least that part. This is Daniel Kitlitz. He is dead because the Boulder Police Department and emergency response units don't care about homeless people. They could have saved his life instead of me finding him dead. It was horrible. There's Harley, and here's Ian. Harley is Dallas's wife. Ian is it's the Sage Waiver Great. He's the guy who used to help me rescue people. One of the people used to help rescue folks from Boulder, Colorado. There he is again. I don't know who the girl is. This is Catherine Louise. She's dead. She kind of looks like that lady from Resident Evil. Here's Natalie Marie Bollinger. She's dead. Here's Rod Wright. That's the pastor and his wife. We can get into that later. This is Rose Melvin. She's dead. She is recorded on my channel talking about a situation in high school where she and I cleaned up the blood from the police beating the hell out of somebody. This is on the right is Sarah Rubiolo. She's one of the missing people I helped to find. And on the left is Kat Chang. She was the one that was at the by the library during Creek Fest, and we were drawing the tattoos with Sharpie. That's my stepdad, Michael Scott Wade. And see, that's here's Dan Favorite again, or not Dan Favorite, but Dan Kitlitz. This is one of Natalie's ex-stepmoms. Her name is Shelly. Rochelle Shelley Campbell. This is Mikhail Gorbachev, and there was a game we all used to play in the 1980s. It was what's on Gorby's head. Some people said it was Italy. Some people said it was a map of Ukraine. Some people said it was a jelly stain. It was all the rage back then. This is Jennifer Richmond here, and she's the postmaster in Chapel, Nebraska. Small world and all. This is her dad, and this is her mom. Jack Richmond, who is in several of my recordings, 3 or 4 at least. I believe 2 of them are actually on YouTube. Stuff from Mariah Johnson and Zach Richmond. There's a lot on here. I do need to download what is on my clandestine recording device, and I'll show that to you. This is it. I gotta download that onto my computer. Oh, come on now. Now it's at opening. I don't need something. I am not real great with these. All right. No. Okay. I don't know, it's all frozen up. It's stupid, it shouldn't be. Probably wants to do an update. That's always swell. Jen Beebe works with Region 1. Like I said, go pull her card out and get that information. She doesn't work there anymore. She's a guard at the Scottsbluff County Jail, and she definitely abused that position to retaliate against me for things that she did wrong when she was working for Region 1. Jen Beebe, I told on her when she worked for Region 1. She doesn't work there anymore, thank goodness. Well, there's a lady on my channel, her name is Marcia Estrada, and she is my mental health lady or whatever. Or was, until the situation, of course, with Penny Cooper just being lazy. I don't know why people want to be lazy, especially when there's human lives at stake. It's kind of dumb. All right. I'm going to name it. All right, come on. Caps lock. Is this not plugged in? Caps lock. All right, there it goes. Muck. And then, of course, we go down here to see what date it is. The time is wrong. It might be right. The date, 12/5/2022. So when I name these, I name them according to where I'm at. And then, of course, the date. And this one has Siggy in it, so we're going to put Siggy's name at the end. And that's the download date. It's not actually the date that it recorded on because it got pretty full. Now we're going to try to only do one process at a time on this computer. Marcia Estrada knows Jen Beebe in person and has worked with her, so she knows. Alright, this is the screen that comes up, and then I have to go to continue without scanning. I go to voice, right click, open. Oh wow, it's going fast. Holy crap, it's going fast. Alright, so no, that's not the right direction. We want to make this smaller so that we can actually add it to where's the one that we just made. This one right here, Tillamook Siggy. So the stuff that I know how to do is what I do. I know how to do this part of it, the evidence collection, and also making sure that it's saved over to my computer. I also know that I'm going to have to go through all of those. In order to identify where it comes from. And you also look at the part where it says the date. It always gets that wrong. It always says January 2020. And that's pretty constant. It's a glitch. The guy who bought the clandestine recording device, his name, he's from Greenwich, Scotland, and I guess they're kind of a seafaring area. but he bought this for me. I guess it came from China, and it does work. It just has its quirks. As far as all these go, most of these are mandated reporters who didn't do their jobs. Some of these are perpetrators that later turned out to be alright. There's a couple, 3 or 4 stories with me and a guy named, God, what is his name? Alright, Bob Long. Bob Long is, well, he's related through the grapevine too. He's related to me because he married my niece's grandmother, Riley Sr.'s ex-wife. So Bob Long was helping me with getting my tire fixed, and it didn't work out too good, but we did try. And we got some air in it, and Carl Snell was actually working at the gas station over there by Lucy's, and that's just south of Sedgwick, Colorado. Lucy's has got some good food too. All right, once we've done this, what we've got to do is we've got to click over here onto a blank space. What that does is it unselects or highlights wherever you're transferring it to. And it also almost unselects these. I want to make sure it's all unselected, because sometimes if I don't unselect them all for some odd reason, it'll erase it from here and from here. Once I've done that so that it's not selected any of them, then I can select all of them. Like I said, this isn't like some super high dollar thing, but it is something that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that I have it, and I'm thankful that a young autistic man in Scotland, a Caledonian, decided to actually help in a useful way. And then he disappeared. And I've had some nut jobs getting on, pretending to be his parents or be his mother, I guess. Oh, you see how difficult it is to get this done. Now, I wanted to check through some of these ones in Hood River for some of the abuse there. I also wanted to go through and show you some of the stuff with Amy Witcher again. And I wanted to, that's here, that's about the child abuse, their drug use, them wanting me to her wanting me to babysit the kids because she was done with Andrew. I think that's something from my sister, I'm not sure. We got stuff, the Dalles, Joanna Taylor Smith. Oh, this is a good one, actually. This one is not responding, which is unpleasant. All stuff I just gotta deal with, I guess. Crap. So this is a pain in the butt. That's the thing about human trafficking and child abuse. It's a lot of work.
What's that?
I said that's the thing about human trafficking and child abuse. It's a lot of work.
That's because everybody does it.
Right?
It's messed up how much it goes on. You wouldn't think it goes on that much, but then you really get deep into it.
I'll even hear and tell them, look, I've got dozens of people that have told me their stories, and they're like, you know what, nobody will help me. And I say, well, I'll help you. I'll go in with you. They say, well, that won't work. I say, well, won't it work? Well, I've already been there. I say, did you go in alone or with somebody else? Oh, I went in alone. Well, that's why it didn't work. We go in 2 people this time. And then they say, all right, I'll do that. And then they get scared again because they remember they were retaliated against by the local law enforcement. And so I've got all of these, the situation. I'm not sure if I showed you the video, but I'm pretty sure I showed it to your manager, the one where that mentally ill lady, Jamie, was punched in the back of the head by that guy.
So
Yeah, so that's on my YouTube channel, and that's one of the things I was trying to turn in, but it was police standing in the way, and the church there that was standing in the way. So what I'm doing right now, I figured there's no other customers, so I'm recording the evidence to try to get it out to who it needs to go to.
Yeah, exactly.
I did want to, all right, first of all, I did want to say not all these officers are predators. All right, I do want to give a shout out to Officer Brandon Martinez, number 703 from Gearing Police Department. After Scott Acosta had me arrested for trying to turn him in December of 2020. This officer here, and also Officer John Stark, number 713 of Gearing Police Department, both of these officers took it upon themselves to assist me how they could, how they were allowed. Were able to help me to get assistance to get money, and were also able to, well, to get my money out anyway. They were also able to hook me up with the Capri Motel. And the Capri Motel, the people that ran that place, I later saw because they were in jail. All right, here we've got it. So it finally did that. And what we're going to do is we're going to click delete. And hopefully it'll delete those, but it'll take a few minutes. Yes. Holy crap. Wow, it's actually working now. It probably did update. I thought I had the blue screen of death earlier, but I was creeped out because it was gray. Go down here. And go to eject hardware. Now, thank goodness people showed me how to do this. What people showed me how to do, and I use often, I remember easily. But the more complicated things get, the more difficult it is for me to manage it all and hold everything together. Now it's going super slow again. Come on. Anyway, oh, there it goes. Eject voice record. Alright, so these folks, despite the fact that they were on drugs, they did take care of me really well there at the Capri Motel. They fed me, it didn't cost anything. They were on meth, but, they admitted to it. Alright, safe to remove hardware. So my USB mass storage device may now be disconnected. The majority of the recordings that I have, like this one that I just made, they're mostly audio recordings. Right. Gotta open up and see what's in them. This one right here, we got some audio recording devices and some of the harassment stuff from Bill Jensen. And, well, going through them all, finding which ones are which is a big giant pain in the butt. This one right here is one of my predators. Her name is Michaela Lou McRae, or Officer McRae, in the Arapahoe County Jail. If she had asked the other inmates to assault me, because, of course, she's kind of pretty. You're going to get to see in a second what she looks like, and a lot of the inmates definitely had big crushes on her. Her and this guy named Thorne were horrible. But Thorne is kind of a dork. He'd do whatever the hell she wanted. If she sneezed on a Kleenex, he'd probably take it home and whack off with it. That's not very nice, Sean. That's not very nice.
some sugar and some creamer? What? Sugar and creamer? Thanks, sir. My gosh, I have been pampered so much here. I'm thinking about changing my name to Princess. Except I'm an American and we ain't got no princesses here. We just got people who think they is.
I'll take no less than the best of care of my customers. You deserve a good experience.
Oh my god, what you mean you got VR?
The best experience.
You got VR? Yeah, it didn't start up in the required time.
You got VR? That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm witty and sarcastic, but then I can't be witty or sarcastic because then people take stuff overboard. They're like, oh, he's autistic, and autistic people are all stupid and retarded and don't understand sarcasm. I'm like, my God, you can't grow up in the system and not understand sarcasm.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they say, well, people who are autistic, they don't understand a figure of speech. I'm like, we understand what it means,
Yeah.
you know? It don't make any sense, and it don't make any sense to most people if they really think about it. We do understand what it means, we just take it literally until somebody explains it to us.
Exactly.
Like, I know that bless her heart is not necessarily a blessing. Sometimes that's followed by an insult, or following an insult. Like, you know, her husband is so stupid, he's dumb as a post. Bless his heart.
No, exactly. No, you know what? That's actually kind of smart because I didn't even really dissect it that much.
Well, people say, you know, you shouldn't overthink things, and I come to realize folks who say that, they lie a lot and they don't want you catching them.
Yeah.
Oh, Sean, you think too much. I'm like, no. My brain works exactly every single moment that it's supposed to, which is every moment that I'm alive. It's supposed to function.
Yeah, exactly.
Our brains are supposed to figure out what's going on around us. It prevents us from doing stupid stuff like killing ourselves on accident.
Yeah. I was gonna say you seem to be pretty in tune.
Yeah, even my therapist says I'm not schizophrenic, but my predator keeps trying to pretend I am. Like, I try to explain to the cops, you can't diagnose me as schizophrenic because I'm trying to turn you in. A badge does not give you qualifications to diagnose somebody as schizophrenic. So I went to a therapist. I went to her for long enough, 6 months, is how long it takes to diagnose schizophrenia. Like, you're not schizophrenic, you're not delusional, you're not psychotic, you're not bipolar. You've got PTSD off. You've got it all figured out. The problem is that he's going to the courts because officers told hospital staff and the courts that I was mentally ill, tried pretending that I was schizophrenic. That didn't work as far as they thought it would. So then they tried calling me outright schizophrenic, telling hospital workers I was schizophrenic. I'm like, see, now you're messed up. That's where you cross the line from, all right, you made a mistake and it's something you can at least admit to, all right, now you're committing felonies.
Yeah, now you're fucking up.
Yeah. So the fact that I got a bunch of that stuff recorded, I've got the fact that I was trying to put in those officers specifically by name when they went and pulled that stuff. I'm like, it's on my YouTube channel. I spoke up on my YouTube channel publicly. I'm going to turn you guys in. And then the next thing you know, I'm having to explain my YouTube channel or identity.
Yeah, exactly. The authorities work in great funny ways.
On the bright side, that's your taxpayer dollars. I'm just glad it's not just the homeless they do that stuff to anymore. Now when they come to your houses, they say the same things. They say, well, we don't have the resources. We don't have the money. Our funding has been cut. I'm like, see all these people after COVID and with cops doing all that BS and all these folks complaining now that it's happening to them. I'm like, what happened to the last 40 years of them doing to the homeless that you missed? Although on the bright side, I get to blame you because your eyes are blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, because you have earrings, I'm supposed to have like some sort of insult as a Nebraskan for you, but I don't really. I'm not a very good Nebraskan. I don't hate the people that I'm supposed to hate.
I don't hate the people I'm supposed to hate.
I don't.
Yes.
Well, as a Nebraskan, it's pretty customary to get drunk and blame everything on brown people. I'm like, oh my God. I want to identify as a purple people.
No, an actual carrot. Oh, I love you too.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Love and carrots do not mix. All right. Apparently that is not going to work. Oh, come on. Cheese and flipping rice. But dear Lord, almondy cheese and rice. Praise the Lord. Alright, there's my clandestine recording device on the keychain. Of course, that's where most of these recordings actually came from. There's literally thousands of them. I probably have close to 1,000 of them just with Wendell McPhee alone. So there is a pretty substantial quantity. Oh my God, I used big words. Alright, it doesn't actually look like it's friggin' Farbignu. What the hell? Alright, we'll just close that one. Let's see, Ventus Coast Side, Denver, Colorado. That one's got sex in it, so we're not going to play that one. If I play that one, you'll get to hear Ventus Kasai and, of course, Stephanie Mejia, who is married to a different feller, and they're doing the horizontal mamba or whatever they call it. I don't know. Alright, let's see. Fate Worse Than Canada. River, Dr. Roofy. Here's a good one. Alright, so this doctor definitely didn't do his job. Let's see. Is it this one? Or this one? Oh, come on. Dear Lord, almondy cheese and rice. It's only got 2 of them in there, but the problem is it's slower than the Virgin Mary. I got that saying from a young woman named Jamie Curtis. The other night I almost lost my virginity. It was a zipper incident and it was not pleasant. Word of advice: never wear anything with a zipper.
Also, I don't follow that advice, so I guess do as I say, not as I do. Isn't that horrible? Alright, come on. Also, I believe I have a recording with Officer John Carty. He actually was the one who, along with another feller up there in Bristol, helped me to get a bus ticket because they didn't want me to turn in their buddies. And I believe that's Officer John Carty. There's another officer that was up there that was really cool, actually. And as far as the turning in of predators in the area, including the Bollingers and, well, ex-Bollingers, because it was some of Ted's ex-wives and such, at least one of them. God, why isn't it doing nothing? Anyway, you guys can message these folks too. This guy, Michael Child, is someone that I'm trying to turn in for crimes that he has committed. Adam Frericks committed crimes, but not knowingly or willingly, as far as I am aware or concerned. The things that he was manipulated into, I understand that he is only human and he wanted to believe his fellow officer. Unfortunately, his fellow officer was able to manipulate Mr. Frericks and his department into committing felonies. That's not okay. Alright, here's the Hood River doctor's appointment. Here's the Dalles where I had to go about that situation because the Hood River police were entirely ineffective. Alright, come on, please play. Alright, I'm gonna whine. I'm not getting what I want for Christmas, obviously. I want peace on earth and goodwill towards mankind. Alright. Oh, come on, dear Jesus. Well, guy, he's one of the guys down by the river. They were starting trouble with me last week, and he came up to me wanting to make amends, I guess. Yeah. That's not really what he was wanting to do. He went and got me a soda pop, and I guess if you've had COVID and you smoke a bunch of meth, then you can't taste the chemical flavor in a soda pop. But I don't smoke meth, and I haven't had COVID, so like I tasted it immediately and I spat it out, and I don't know how much he put in there. It was a 24-ounce or a 20-ounce cup. I probably ingested about 3/4 of an ounce of the liquid that was in it, which is mostly Dr. Pepper. I did try to induce vomiting. I also tried to dilute it. But it was about 5 hours ago, 6 hours ago. I can look right up here. Sports. SHAWN. Do what?
Your date of birth.
October 18th, 1980.
Sorry, you remind me how to spell your first name again.
SHAWN.
Do you have a middle name?
D is in David.
Your name is Ian, correct?
Yes, ma'am. There's more than one Sean Schwartz.
No, I was just making sure because I just looked up your name and then I forgot your date of birth again.
You're good.
Do you have a cell phone number?
I do. Give me one moment. Normally I remember it. I'm autistic though, and I'm scared a bit. I forget names. So I have it on the back of my phone usually, but alright, there it is. Yes, ma'am. The first ones are 308, the other ones are legible.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's this bag for you. And what's a good mailing address for you?
I don't have one. I was forced into homelessness when a friend of mine was shot in the head in 2017.
I'm sorry, sir.
Not your
Oh,
fault.
I'm sorry. Let's get you seen by a nurse and a doctor. It looks like the only thing I need from you, sir, is just a quick signature, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
This is just giving us permission to see you here today.
That'll work. I noticed some hospitals, they got all the staff are super nice.
Aw.
Some of the hospitals, all that staff treat us like we're on drugs or drug addicts if we're not pretty looking.
No,
Bonjour.
What are you doing on the ground, bro?
Trying to maintain my composure.
Okay. Do you remember me from last time?
I do. You and I had a pretty decent conversation about the way things don't exactly work, but it'd be nice if they did.
Yeah, it's good to see you again.
Yes, sir. I wish it was under better circumstances, but on the bright side, I don't have a nasty pustule on my backside, which is what I was in here for last time.
There you go. How you doing? Can I help you out today a little bit?
Yeah, I already went to the cops about it too, but somebody, one of the homeless folks down there, he had an issue with me last week.
Yeah.
And I guess he was trying to make amends with me today, is what it was about. Dr. Pepper, but I guess for somebody who's had COVID and smokes a bunch of meth, it wouldn't taste any different for them, but I don't do that. I've never had COVID, so I taste.
do we have everything correct here?
Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty.
So I tasted whatever was in it immediately. The biggest piece of tobacco is that chug. What was in it? Assuming it was meth. Alright, I'm gonna pause this. I'm glad I got it working. I got now it won't pause. There it goes. Alright, so it's 2 hours at the hospital, and there's even more to it than that. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of officers that I spoke with. I got to go through the videos and figure out which one of these officers are the nice ones and which one of them ain't. Some of them that I'm familiar with, like Sean Holloway, that's not a problem. I know him well enough to know what his name is, what he looks like, and all that. Mike Kramer, not so much, although I did find him in some of my recordings.
That's what I was just thinking. I was like,
John Cardy, I'm not sure which one it is. I'm probably gonna have to pack up here shortly too. I do have the underneath all these mental health cards.
I never saw it. I don't want to rent it.
Tara Smith, I have recordings with her, and I kept calling her Tara Miller. It's actually Tara Smith. The videos where I talk about Tara Miller, it's actually about Tara Smith. That's just got this lady. The problem is, like I said, the moment they find out there were police involved, they turn their ears off and refuse to do anything. Now, with the number of bodies that this has resulted in that are actually verifiable, you know, it's already gotten beyond what is acceptable for anybody. You know, the recordings of her show that she was there once before to see me. She's not a figment of my imagination. She does work with Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Like I said, I did go to the people that I was told to go to and all the places that I was at. Michael Childs is another one who didn't do his job. Matter of fact, I need help turning him in. I've got the instructions from the lady on how to turn him in. But even knowing I was trying to turn him in for the threats, harassment, and intimidation that took place there, I still have to have somebody to do it with me. Bridge to Change in Dalles, Oregon is an important one too. I mean, the thing is that basically, when you go talk to these people, they want you to be on drugs. If you're not on drugs, they don't help you. They call them dual diagnosis clinics, but they focus mainly on drug addicts because it's repeat business. It's good repeat business. I mean, a lot of these people that are on drugs, they have families that have been screwed over by them so many times. They say you're not coming back into the house unless you go to that therapy, and they need it, you know. With my paperwork here, it says who to go to and when, and it gives good solid instructions on what to do. But, you know, we're not just looking at situations here that involved elder abuse, are we? We're also talking about having to call adult protective services about their own services not doing their jobs. And we're being sent to, basically, the people we're trying to turn in, we're sent to their bosses, but their bosses are going to help cover it up or pretend like it's not something that's serious enough to look at unless someone goes in with you. How can elder abuse be prevented? And it's almost the same guidelines as if it's a disabled person. Now, if we can get the computer to finish up its background processes, it was explained to me that this slowness is because of background processes. So, I don't know, whatever. I'm not a computer dude, I just know what I'm told. Or am aware of what I'm told. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not a computer dude. But it says, let's see, get to know the staff who are taking care of the person. Try to see the person regularly. Frequent visits will help you determine if the person shows sign of abuse or neglect. Let's see, express any concerns you may have right away. Keep notes of the conversations. You know, all the stuff that these people who wanted to tell me, they made reports and they called these people and they called these places. They didn't do any of these things. For certainly didn't keep notes. Some people did that were supposed to be acting in professional capacity, but not very good notes. It says take pictures if there are signs of abuse or poor health standards. My God, I've got so many pictures and screenshots and definitely poor health standards that I'm living in. It says offer to accompany the person to medical appointments, financial institutions, and other important meetings. Now, how can it be prevented? This is prevented. This is what I was telling people before Natalie was killed. This is what I needed help with. This stuff right here is what I needed help with. Not all this other BS, all right? This right here. And I already knew the protocols. I didn't have to get this. You see, right here it says 11/19/2022. That's because that's when this situation happened, when I went to them, and the hospital is required to give me this paperwork, just so you know, which the one that I have recorded here from Hood River, they don't do that. There's also the fact that I reported to them that I had been drugged, and also that I had gone to the police. The police refused to do their jobs as mandated reporters, did not take it seriously. We've got that situation recorded as well. But the very first thing for prevention is, well, it doesn't even address the person who's being abused. The first people it addresses is the people that we're supposed to legally have, friend or family member. If we don't have those, we are supposed to be appointed a guardian or a guardian and an advocate. And this is just a phenomenal amount of BS. Now, one of the other situations, I'm being told to go to CARE about these things, and obviously I've been to CARE. I have cards here from CARE. I've got, matter of fact, a bunch of cards from CARE. What are the different kinds of abuse and neglect? And you can go through and see that I actually abuse people back. It says emotional abuse. This includes verbal attacks, rejection, humiliation, intimidation, social isolation, or threats. Abuse may also include denying the person participation in decisions that affect his or her life. Well, that seems to be the police, the volunteers, and of course the media doing this to the best of their abilities, making me a target for more emotional abuse from others. And that's the thing, is that it's difficult to get heard. Now, obviously, I've been to Tides of Change. We got the recordings of the laws they broke. CARE, we've got some recordings of the laws they broke. Helping Hands has not returned any of our anythings so far. Even after the calls from Tides of Change and CARE, that part at least they tried. Says, or other local sites that may be able to provide advocates. It says they're gonna send a referral to TFCC for counseling as well as for advocacy. However, I need someone to go in with me in person, or that's not gonna work out. Or at least someone to be on the telephone with me when I go there so that they can explain I'm telling the truth. Siggy didn't quite understand that. It says if you're feeling suicidal, have a plan, please seek care of a local ER. Let me tell you something about going to the local ER if you're suicidal and have a plan. If you are suicidal and have a plan, I can guarantee you're not going to go to the local ER, you're going to the local mortuary. Anytime you go to the ER, it is not because you're trying to end your life. It's because you're trying to get help stopping whatever it is that makes you want your life to, whatever it is in your life that is unbearable. And oftentimes an ER isn't going to help you with that. Now, I'm not going to be able to get through all this tonight before it's over, and I really want to go have a cigarette, so I'm going to do that. And I've been through all three of these types of abuse since Natalie died. All three of them for trying to turn in predators, actual predators. You also get to see that I told the truth about them. You also get to see that it was the complacency of others, not the idea that I didn't go to anyone for help, didn't try to get any help, didn't contact anyone. That is such an outdated notion by this point. You guys should, by now, realize that I do what I say I'm doing. My niece's life is pretty important to me. My little sister's life is pretty important to me. Natalie's life was important to me, and it still is. Her life is a lesson to learn. All of us need to learn it. Blood in there. That recording you get to hear, and it the security guard there talking to me. I was actually on my knees so that I could use the counter to write with, and I was in a lot of pain. And with the stuff that they gave me, I ended up not feeling any pain. I felt nothing. except sick. Jeez, I keep forgetting. I broke my handle off the other day because it's been colder than a cast iron commode on the shady side of an iceberg at night. And the local bathrooms were open, so I was trying to get into my vehicle in a hurry. Just can't get the fucking handle off. I'm a dick, I'll admit it. You get to see how the environment helps. The environment itself, depending on how safe an environment it is. Now, Mike, he's the manager here. He reassured me yesterday, and of course, after letting me know his background, I really like the guy, and I would go to him for help, but I think letting him get familiar with me as a person is probably pretty important, and making sure that I don't overwhelm my welcome is also pretty important. Also, I waited for the other customers to leave before I got out and started pulling out my evidence and pointing this thing at it. I gotta make sure that I keep my car warmed up every few minutes, probably about every hour or so, just enough to make sure that it stays a little bit warmed up, because if I don't, it's not going to want to start in the morning, and it's not going to want to start later on. The problem is I also now have to shake my key in order to... Oh. There we go. Alright, praise the Lord, almondy cheese and rice. Woohoo! Now that's why we love the Broncos. I mean, oops. The truth of the sports is, I really don't care whether or not the Broncos win the World Cup. I don't. I don't care if the Seattle Super Sea Chickens win the Heisman Trophy. Yep, I'm not somebody who gives two shits about sports. Yes, I am well aware that the Seattle Super Sea Chickens play basketball, and there's no Heisman Trophy in basketball. That's a football achievement. Yes, I'm well aware that the Denver Broncos are football players, and it would be the NFL, and of course the Super Bowl. But I don't give two shits who's playing. The last time I paid attention to football players, it was Colin Kaepernick and Tim Tebow. I agreed with Colin Kaepernick, just not Tim Tebow. One of them was doing it for a cause here on Earth. The other one was doing it for attention. That was entirely self-serving. I got no respect for Tim Tebow. I got nothing but mad love, however, for Colin Kaepernick. Matter of fact, when I was in Virginia in 2016, it was Natalie and Alicia. Tyler Frericks, he's Adam Frericks, the sheriff of Sidney, Nebraska, one of the ones who was helping Scott DaCosta. That's the thing. An officer, you try to tell on him, he'll call every jurisdiction around and have whatever he wants done to you, because he's got the position to do it. Leslie Snell is definitely going down. She really screwed up big. I mean, when you cross the line in a position of power, a position of public trust, the way that Polly Olson did, oh, she got punished for it by the law, by Nebraska State Patrol. Michelle Quinn as well. And Michelle Decini. And Sarah Nelson. But they prevent you from turning those people in, don't they? Those people themselves all have positions of power where they can help to assist their friends, their co-workers in law enforcement with getting away with committing those felonies. But once they've been busted, well, that casts a shadow of doubt, and that means that all of their cases prior to that need to be reviewed. It's required by law in every single state. Why have they not reviewed my situation yet? Well, that's because there's no public support. Nobody gives two fucks about the homeless until they're homeless. And by then, of course, it's too late. Until then, people who have never been homeless, who are sheltered, they want to tell us how it is. These people who have absolutely no clue what it's like to live homeless. So basically, when it comes to homelessness, these people have lived in a bubble under a rock with manservants and maidservants. By comparison, they don't know shit, but they're going to tell us how it is. And then they're going to treat us, who are living it, as if we're the ones living in a bubble under a rock with manservants and maidservants who don't know what the fuck is going on. When I said the drugs and the issues with that are nationwide, I meant it. You can't go anywhere in America, in any town in America or city in America, without, of course, what do we have in nearly every town and city that I've been to on this 6-year journey on this here channel? Every place I go, those people think it's the worst. Here in Tillamook, they think it's worse here than anywhere else. The people in Hood River think it's worse there than anywhere else. The people in the Dalles think it's worse there than everywhere else. But you know what? The meth is everywhere. And what do we got going on here? We got a situation where we've got mental health professionals and police officers capitalizing on those people. And they got them capitalizing on the rest of us too. Who's paying the taxes for them to utilize situations that don't work? For them to utilize services that don't do what they're supposed to? When these services are literally doing the opposite of what they are trained does not help. That's what they're doing. If they're trained that something does help, they're ignoring that altogether. Places like Clearview never should have been allowed to change names and maintain the same decorum, because it was not professional before, and it's not professional now. People are not getting treatment there. The people who are working there, they're from Walmart, they're from 7-Eleven, they're not trained mental health professionals. It's not like a mental hospital that they had in the 1980s where everybody there was professionally staffed. Everybody there had a college degree or at least a practicing nurse's degree. Everybody there knew their stuff. They were trained in what to do. Whereas these goons that they got in there now, 7-Eleven and Walmart rejects, what are they going to do? They're going to slam you to the ground, inject you with drugs, and say the doctor ordered it. Are you sure about that? Are you sure the doctor preemptively ordered me to get shot up with drugs, you fucking twit? I don't think so. Anyway, hopefully whatever processes are going on in the background, that their computer, hopefully they'll complete themselves and I'll be able to actually have a smooth run computer. There's also the possibility the background process that it's running right now is an update, in which case it'll want to spend anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour trying to update. after I try to shut it down. It might take up to an hour and a half. Now, obviously, I want to get through part of that video tonight, but that is not a happening thing. It's getting a little late, and I want to make sure that my computer closes down before they close, because I don't want to have to unplug it while it's shutting down. That computer, Jen Beebe and, God, what's her name? Nicole Peralta, can both verify the fact that I did have it full of evidence before when Desiree was staying with me. And the hard drive ended up getting fried, and we did send it in. And of course, it was delivered to Nicole Peralta's office. So when it finally came back, they sent back the hard drive, but they sent it back with a new hard drive. The evidence, it was all gone. It was destroyed, so I had to start over again. Yeah. Also, I got a word of advice to you. Don't start smoking cigarettes. It's nasty. If you get to the point that you're smoking tobacco that somebody else smoked and put out their cigarette in an ashtray, and you're putting it in a tobacco pipe and you're choking to death on it, maybe it's a good time to quit. Holy shit, that is gross. Alright. So now that we got our car warmed up, it's probably a good time to get in there and start shutting it all down. It's 11:33 p.m. and they close down in about 27 minutes. I've been kind of shifting around between 3 different parking lots. That way I don't stay in any one for too long. I don't pay all my bills this month, and I got to be able to keep my evidence and keep my transportation both. If I got to lose everything else, so be it. The evidence is more important than my life. Bonjour. Alright, so when it comes to abuse and neglect, there's multiple pieces of paper that I got here. I do have screenshots of them on YouTube or on Facebook. I mean, it's got a lot of different guidelines and who to contact, and also the situation itself is recorded on my YouTube. Just like this one. This hospital is recorded. This hospital is recorded. The hospital in Sydney, Nebraska is also recorded. I save my stuff. I make sure I don't BS. If I make a mistake, I fess up to it, and I fess up to it quick. There's a reason for that. It'll get people killed if I don't. Here's another one. When it comes to at-risk adults, especially out here, when I say family support is the most important, I mean it. Family or friends. If you or a family or friend are being used, these are the places you're supposed to go to. But just remember, when you go to these places, when you contact these places, make sure that you have help when you do it. Make sure you get help right away. Don't procrastinate for 6 years. You get people killed. By the way, I admit to being verbally and emotionally abusive. I definitely do. If your conduct is getting my loved ones killed, I will call you every name in the book. We're gonna shut this down. We did find what we were looking for, didn't we, though? Yes! Woohoo! So hopefully tomorrow we'll go to the Starbucks. We'll see if we can get this up and running at the Starbucks. We'll also make sure that we expose people like this and others. We'll also go through some of the videos, hopefully, and be able to identify which of these officers are worthwhile and which ones are needing to be removed from the force by whatever means necessary. If these people are going to take your money and not do their job, and them not doing their job has resulted in your loved ones or my loved ones getting killed, well, it's probably a good time for us to make sure that they can't do that anymore. Come on, please work. Dear Lord Almighty, cheese and rice, this is slow. Come on, I don't want to emergency shut it down, but it's 11:38 p.m. I gotta do something. Shut down. All right. When I say I got the evidence, I got the evidence. When I say I've read up on the laws and I know my stuff, I already know it. I get this crap and I read this crap. All of it. I want to know my stuff before you guys start arguing with me and telling me how it is in your fantasy world with your unicorns.
Little like half drinks, but we want to make the exact size drink.
Well, I would say for that place, you can give me
Sounds good to me. I don't drink chocolate drinks anyways, it's not like I would do. Chocolate's too thick for me, man. Chocolate's too tiny and rich. And
That's a shame. That's a shame because my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
What's that?
I said that's a shame because my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
If I look to bring up first to the yard,
I can teach you, but I have to charge if you want it.
I want you to teach me. Which one's chocolate peanut butter? What's in the back?
Those? Yeah. Those are the cheapest chocolate chip cookies with the ice cream and caramel. And this,
How big are they?
and then this is caramel apple crisp. It's an apple pie base. It's like an apple pie with no like pie crust. It's an apple bake with cinnamon crumb topping, and you also put ice cream on top.
How many are they in?
Stack of business cards, primarily police officers, mental health workers, nationwide, coast to coast. Oh, come on.
All right, so I'm not a morbid person or anything like that, but whenever somebody asks the question, what's in the box,
My immediate jump to and go to answer is always Gwyneth Paltrow's head. You've seen the movie. No? The fact that you laughed made me just assume that you did. Seven Deadly Sins with
No, anytime I hear box, and if I say box, I laugh.
Yeah, my dad laughs every time he has to say penis or vagina, which is absurd to me. So he says tallywhacker and watu instead, which makes me
Sir, I
laugh.
got myself an interesting question for you. How many times did your dad find an instance where he was required to say that? Because what if you, because your answer depends on your answer depends on my next question. What business was he in?
My dad, when I was 15, wanted me to make porno sites for him because that's when it was first coming out.
That's exactly what I guessed.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you see some. It's hot, what the hell?
enjoy it.
Yeah,
It's a good time to warm up the jacket before going out.
yeah.
Although I probably shouldn't order you around. It is your life, and you know it's stuff. Thank you. I work out. Right. I'm glad you realized it was a joke.
Yeah, I hear the ghost right. Oh, I hate it.
Oh, you made it?
Yeah. Are you the quickest motherfucker you ever met? Did you know that?
Yeah.
At least it wasn't my mother. If it was, I'd say you shouldn't be in the food service industry and you need to take a bath.
Taking any, my friend. And it wasn't that bad of a ride.
Actually, saying that kind of reminds me of Pink Floyd. Wanna take a bath? It's from The Wall.
Pink Floyd's probably my favorite of all time
Pink
band.
Floyd is definitely one of my favorites. I used to do 5 ounces of mushrooms a day. I used to do enough mushrooms to kill a fucking 60. Yeah.
Comfortably numb. is
Pink
probably my
Floyd,
favorite.
exactly. Comfortably numb. Pink
Yeah.
Floyd.
Oh,
It sent me to a whole nother
Freaker's Ball, Dr. Hook.
Yeah, that song sent me to a whole other motherfucking world.
I know.
When I was on the
Or, a
I was
passage
just
to
sitting at my buddy's
Bangkok.
house, and I
There's-
felt like I was in space. I was laying back on the couch, and I felt like there was nothing
You know
below me
what?
or above me.
The Auntie Zoo used to have the light show. Pink
Dude.
Floyd, and I would have loved to.
Ooh, go check that shit out. Woo.
I know, that'd be awesome.
Ah,
Okay, thank you, David.
have a good one.
I hope you don't mind. I already started shutting down my computer and getting my stuff packed up because I don't want you having to stay late and hold my hand because I'm having a panic attack and freaking out because I'm making you guys stay late. By the way, that's also the reason I didn't come in earlier when you had that table full, that one was empty, that one was full, and both were full.
Yeah. You know, it's got a little bit of it for a minute.
Oh, you guys don't make squat for tips. You should get more homeless people in here. I tip better. That sounds rude, but it's not completely rude.
It's funny because you're tipping more than most people. You manage to tip every time, and you tip more generously than people that are driving Teslas here.
I did notice that. You know how many people in Teslas have kicked me down anything? I'll tell you who's taking care of me. Brown people. Brown people are good to me. Brown
Because
people
guess
fix
what?
my car.
Guess
Lady
what?
hardly spoke English, told her 14-year-old son to fix my Honda Civic, and sure enough, a 14-year-old boy fixed my Honda Civic. Go ahead. I'm not
The
guessing
reason
what. Go ahead
is
and
no.
tell me.
The reason is because they were oppressed, and
Still
they
are.
remember that. We being white as shit. We weren't oppressed very often, and we don't fucking get it.
Oh, I definitely get it because I've been oppressed my whole life, but I got
No.
to deal with mental
Our
illness.
culture has
Very
been
much
less
so.
oppressed. Whereas darker people. They've been oppressed for years, so they get it. They help people that are being oppressed out, whether or not you're white.
That's
because
right.
you are.
It's kind of like
They're gonna
the
help you
homeless
out
thing.
because you're being oppressed, and they are not going to be like us and oppress us. They are not going to.
And
There
that
was
all
a lot
depends on
of
who it
people
is.
that were
And
white that were
that's
very
one of the
messed up
things.
and put dirt on our name,
Yo.
and we need to
And it's
stop
not your
being that
name.
way.
It's not your name, and it's not my name.
It's not, because I don't stand with those people at all.
And you didn't commit those crimes.
No,
and if
and I
something
never
wrong
would.
happens to you, you don't deserve to be shoved to the back of the bus any more than anybody else, regardless of skin color or gender.
Exactly, dude. There is no reason that people should judge each other.
I've never been gay, but I stick up for gay people because I've been beaten up plenty for being gay because I have Tourette syndrome.
It's funny because the most judgment is passed upon unknown land. The most judgment is passed upon unknown land where people don't know each other. They just judge people they don't know. That is the problem here, is that people just pass judgment where they know nothing.
Yup.
That is where most judgment
And then they
is
want
passed.
to project that. Now, in Chapel, Nebraska, they blame everything on blacks and Mexicans, okay? There's no blacks or Mexicans there. And then these farmers, they want to spend $50 a night on booze so they can complain to people, the blacks and Mexicans, for the reason they're always broke. No, you're always broke because you're spending literally $1,500 per month on booze so that you can go complain about people who literally don't exist here.
Exactly.
It's Chapel, Nebraska. Minorities don't want to live there. And I keep saying, here's what we need to do in Chapel, Nebraska. We need to get a couple of busloads of black folks and have us a barbecue in Chapel, Nebraska, and show them whiteys that not everybody who's a different color of skin is out to steal your bike.
Exactly. They just need an eye-opening experience. Their ancestors experienced one thing, judged black people, and now they just.
It's what their granddaddy taught them.
It makes them think this is how life should be.
When it comes to breaking generational cycles, it's difficult to do when you can't recognize the problems in you that you saw fault in your parents.
Exactly.
And I know my parents were screw ups. I knew when I was a kid that I was locked up because of stuff my parents did. Later on, I found it was because of cocaine, and I've never tried cocaine.
That was exactly my problem.
Too much, way too much of the blue goo, although I get it's not blue. I don't know why they say that. Kind of like the rabbit hole. That doesn't make any sense, but it's the saying, and I understand what it means because it's been explained to me. Kind of like somebody with Down syndrome in a household with two parents who are coke dealers and not know what a teener is.
Yeah. Cannot know what. That's right.
All right. Well, I got a bit of evidence shown. I got a little bit stiff, drawn up, and a battle plan formulated. We were able to find one of the important videos that shows crimes committed in Hood River by the hospital, as well as several other organizations. Here's the thing, we're not trying to get people killed, we're trying to prevent people from getting killed. That's a lot easier to do if we work together and if we actually care about our fellow man instead of just talking about it in general terms. Because when you just talk about it in general terms, you end up making a lot more problems in the long run. You notice in the Civil War, it took a whole lot of firearms, all starting with a man by the name of John Brown, to get all that kicked off. Because people had just simply tolerated something that was incredibly immoral and wrong for far too long. Violence is rarely the answer, but when it is the answer, it's the only answer. And the South proved well enough that begging your tyrants to stop hurting you, or begging your friends' tyrants to stop hurting them, does not work, does not function. and ultimately results in innocent people dying. My tablet broke tonight, so doing what I can. It looks to me like I got 9 more minutes. The computer is being slow as heck, shutting down. The video of Hood River, it's about 2 hours long, so a lot of it is just me sitting in the waiting room and waiting on them. There is one part where it's got some information in it that's, although it's allowed to be recorded, it's not something that I am allowed to show. It's got private information in it, so there's one part where I'll probably pause it and click it forward. That way the phone numbers or social security numbers or whatever parts are in there, that way at least it's kept private. Prevent myself or others from being harmed or injured or otherwise victimized. I'm also gonna, I know there's a way to increase what do they call that? The resolution. I turned it way down because at one point in time, everything that I was recording was saving in my computer and it was filling it up too quickly, so I turned down the resolution. Alright, apparently I'm having connection issues, so I gotta end the video anyway. You know how we end these. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper, and no victim left behind.